Hey everyone, this is Mike with Play More Games, and today we are going to be playing Scenario 1 of the new title from Herman Luttman and Flying Pig Games. It's called A Most Fearful Sacrifice. It was just delivered to me as a Kickstarter backer. You can see some of the Kickstarter rewards here. These are very helpful. But we're taking a break from GTS, which, I hate to do, but I only have the one table, which means I can only set up one of these maps. And speaking of the maps, it's a beautiful map. It's a Rick Barber map. There's a touching tribute to him in the game box. And this is, these maps are as beautiful as they get. So, yeah, alright, so just in case this is your first time checking out one of my videos, I just like to shoot little playthrough videos. It's mostly for fun. Just kind of a way to get me out actually playing these games, as opposed to, I've got a real bad habit of this, setting them up, looking at them, leaving it on the table for 2 or 3 weeks, coming back, tearing it down, and then rinse and repeat. But this way I actually get to play it. So, I am somewhat familiar with blind swords. I have a playthrough of Stonewall's Sword on my YouTube channel. Did that on Vassal. I don't see a Vassal module for this yet, but I want to play a bunch of the one-map scenarios, and I would, once this comes to Vassal, I would probably do a 2-map scenario, or the 3-day campaign. I kind of looked at the campaign rules, and the 3rd day is kind of an option depending on what the situation is. Alright. So, in case this is your first time playing the Blind Sword series, and I guess it's not officially part of, so maybe I shouldn't say that, but it does share a lot in common with it. So I'm going to go kind of slow and just go over a couple of things. So, first, when it comes to setup, when you're looking at the rule book, each unit is listed first by brigade, by division. Okay, so this unit here is Ward's division, Bernie brigade, and it's listed as 3-3. So the setup will call for Vincent 3-3 26-22. Okay, so it's as simple as that. The red colors all indicate that they belong to Sickles' 3rd Corps. And there's an order of battle sheet in the box as well, which can come in handy for the bigger scenarios. So that's as far as setup goes. Reinforcement, you have reinforcement hexes here. There's a Confederate troop that will enter here on the 500 turn, and the Union will get some reinforcements that enter here on the 500 turn. We have these strips that mark our play area. Okay, and this scenario is called the Slaughter Pen. Alright, it's Hood's attack against the stream, left wing of the Union Army defending the Round Tops, and what became known as the Slaughter Pen. So, here's how the core of the game works, right? So, let's grab our sequence of play, and we've constructed our deck, and what I have done, the scenario instructions will tell you which cards to put in there, right? So we put our Fog of War and our 2 Corps Commander cards, and this is what a Corps Commander card looks like. Okay, this is the McLaw's 1st Corps. So when you draw this card, you'll activate this corps. You'll roll on this table to see what units activate. It's really as simple as that. And then a couple of event cards. Now, there's a whole process. Each side has, I think, 16 event cards. You get 4 a turn, depending on the scenario. Maybe some of the larger scenarios you get to choose more. So for this is my second playthrough. I just did 4 random cards, as opposed to just trying to learn them all and figuring out which one is best. It makes it faster, but it, you know, may not be optimal here. Okay. All right. So the objective is there are 3 victory hexes. The Union starts with all of them. At the end of the 3rd turn, whoever controls the most will win. Okay. So we have our deck set up. We have our units on the board. So we are pretty much ready to get started, and I will go over the rest as we go along. So I have this deck of cards, and our first one here is a Union event card. Alright, so it's Rally Round the Flag. So basically, I can hold this and play this card later in the turn, or excuse me, this is a play immediately. Play immediately, alright? And I can't, because it doesn't apply. So I can use it for the default event, which is to either do a minimum move or issue fire. Okay? Now what I might do is I might try and sneak this guy back to the round top hex. However, if I were to do that, he would be subject to disengagement fire. And he may not be able to stand up. Yeah, disengagement. 18. Oh, okay. It only costs 2 extra movement points. So that's what we'll do. We'll back up here, because what I'd like to do is hopefully get to activate him and put a breastworks down. Alright, so that's the first card, and that's as simple as that. Second card. Alright, here's our core activation card. And just to give you an idea, alright, so we're going to roll on this table, and basically, depending on what happens here, we determine how many units we activate. So let me roll, and I'll use one of these Confederate die. So I rolled a 5. So we look and we activate Division Priority 1 and 2, and then these artillery formations. Okay, so now we also look, and none of these are in red. This is the Longstreet Corps. They're pretty good at what they're doing out there. So since none of these are red, we're going to roll on the division chart as well. So here's the division card, and this is a key component of this game. You have these division priorities, right? And depending on how good your formation is determines the likelihood that they'll activate. Okay, so obviously high priority, high chance, medium chance, low chance. For sickles, medium chance, little to no chance, or no chance, no chance. Okay, so that's kind of how they model the asymmetries between the relative commanders. All right, so we rolled a 5. So we are going to go to here, and then roll on this one here, and we rolled a 4. So we would activate Division Priority 1 and 2. Okay, which means if there were more than one... Oh, I'm sorry. I put this card on top. So we get to activate Division Group. Okay. Alright. So, a Division Group activation is as follows. And that's the sound of me flipping to make sure I don't put my foot in my mouth. We activate the entire division, which is just these 3 units, but each brigade must be assigned the same order. Okay? So, orders. So there are 4 orders: maneuver, defense, attack. Actually, 3 orders: maneuver, defense, and attack. We're already kind of where we need to be. So we're not going to use maneuver. Although technically there is a fourth one for artillery, but we don't have any artillery on the board. So what we're going to do is we're going to issue attack orders. And in this game, units fire, they move, and then they assault. Okay? So units that are under defense orders may not assault. Units that are under maneuver orders may not engage. Engagement is defined as moving adjacent to an enemy. Okay? Units under attack move 5 MP, infantry. Units under defend can only do the minimum. Alright? Units that are firing under defensive orders get a 1 column shift right. I mean, think about it, they're, already, if they're firing, they're probably in a good spot. Alright? But units in defense may rally, but they may not do assaults. So we're putting everyone under fire orders. And we don't have anyone that we can fire now. I mean, I suppose technically we could fire our infantry muskets at long range. Well, that would be 2 shifts to the left. Here we're not going to have line of sight. Here we could though, so we're going to be 2 shifts to the left, and then well, might as well do it. Alright. So here we go. So for fire combat you roll all 3 dice, and then you look at your black and your white. Okay, so we have a 23. So we start with an 8 firepower, we shift it twice down to 5, and a 23 is going to be no effect. Okay? So then we look at the red die, and we add our cohesion value here, which is going to be 2 since this unit is unsupported. Add those 2 together, and we get 5. 5 on the fire cohesion test table is a no result. So it doesn't do anything. Alright. So then we move. Okay? So let's start with Robertson. So Robertson moves here, and now the Union can issue defensive fire. Alright? So they're on a 3, and there's no other modifiers, positive or negative. This is Rocky, which has no shifts. Whew! Hot diggity dog. So we rolled boxcars, boxcars, boxcars. Alright, so this is going to do something. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to check out our combat event. Okay, so we got double 6s, and the firing unit rolled it. So each firing unit may immediately conduct another fire combat at any target hex. But actually, we're going to implement the other results first. Okay, so a 66 on the 3 is a routine test. We rolled a 6 for the cohesion, which ends up being an 11, which actually is not great. We want this to be low. Actually, it's a 10, because this is 6 plus 4 is 10. So it does nothing. No effect. Okay. Union dodged a bullet there. Thought it was going to be good, but they can fire again. And this time they rolled double 3s and a 6. 3s is a no effect. But the Confederates, with the modified value of 9, get to do a firefight, so they get to fire back. And they roll a 42. And the 42 on the 8. Now there's no shifts for long range. 42 on the 8 is a routine test, and we're looking at a 7 on a routine test. And the result is SH or SK1. So we will skedaddle back to here. Okay. Now, the Confederates can still keep moving, since that was only their first stop, so they'll move again, and once again we can issue defensive fire. This time we got a 52 on the 3, which is an easy test, and they rolled a 3 plus 4 is 7, and that's a no effect. Okay, so that ends that chain. Now the sequence here is important because these two units can support each other. Now I can move this unit here and then move like this, or I can move this unit here and then move like this. It's all a matter of how you want to do it. So we'll go like this, and the Union will again get defensive fire. This time we're on the 1. So we get a 52 on the 1, which is a no effect, and we roll a 1 plus 3 is 4, no effect. Okay. Alright. So then we will go into the same hex, because we're going to want to do an assault. But this time we don't get to issue defensive fire because there's already a non-moving unit adjacent, so they're kind of like engaged, you know? So they're already they're already trading shots or whatever back and forth. Okay. So now we're up to assault. Okay. And just for the drama here, let's zoom in. Okay. Alright, so we have this stack of units, and they are in the same hex with 12 strength points. Okay, so the max you can start with is 10. Alright. So assaults are a little bit different. The Union and the Confederates are going to fire at the same time, and you kind of cross-reference their results to get a final result. Alright, so let's look at the modifiers. Okay, so they're moving into, this is a woods hex, big round top. So it's not worth any shifts. Well, we do have the option to withdraw, because we are going to end up, yeah, it's probably best that we withdraw, because we're going to be looking at a pretty nasty attack. So we are going to concede the round top without a fight. Well, I don't want to say without a fight. We did take a couple of pot shots, but so we can withdraw up to 2 spaces because we're sharpshooters. And then the attacker gets a breakthrough. So they can move into the defending hex. And then they can do another assault, but there's no one there that they can assault. So next we'll look at assault here. Okay, and now these units cannot withdraw, so we're just going to chuck the dice and figure out what happened, and I'll tell you that it doesn't look good for the Union. Alright, but the first thing I want to figure out is Um, Alright, so 8, so it's 2 to 1, so they get 2 column shifts to the right. So they got a 61, which will be on the first asterisk result, which is a critical test, and the union is actually, that is a rocky hex, so it'll be 1 to the left, so actually that works out, so that's a severe test. Okay. And the union rolled 22. Which is a no effect. Okay. So a cross reference on the table there. Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot that I moved on. We're looking at this one here. So that ends up being a defender, depleted, and skedaddles 3. And then we want to generally go towards the east. So 1, 2, 3. Alright. Okay, so that's the end of the Longstreet Corps card. So they are in possession of one of the 3 objectives. So the next card is Sickles. So we'll roll on the Sickles card, and I get a 2, which is in red, which means I can only activate 1 brigade from the 1st Division priority, which was the Barnes Division. So what we'll do is we'll move this guy under attack orders. We'll move him to this hex here. Alright. So then we have our Fog of War card, which is kind of like a random effect. So I rolled a 51, which is a general wound, core general wound, which you ignore in this scenario. Alright, so now I have a Union card, which is good ground. I can hold it. Play this event anytime before a new card is drawn. Okay. I am going to play it for the minimum event, and we'll move this unit onto the round tops. That's a good card if you feel like you're going to get attacked, but I don't know that I'm going to get attacked again this turn. Alright. Rebels get an event as well, and they will do the minimum move, which is a 1. And what we'll do is we'll move this unit here. So they get defensive fire, and they roll a 33. Which doesn't apply since this unit is not artillery, but a 33 on the 9. Is an easy test, and they rolled a 3 plus a 4 is 7, which is no effect. Alright, so then we come to our next card. It's another Union event, which is a redeployment, which we'll use for the minimum event, Now we will fire at that unit again. This time we rolled a 13, which is going to be nothing. And then we have another card, which we'll use to take the same combat again. And that's not going to cut it. So then we have a Confederate event. The Confederates will shoot up the hill towards the Round Top. So that is going to be on the 6 to 7 column. And a 23 on the 6 to 7 is a no effect, and we have a 6 plus 3 is 9, which is a firefight. So the Union will get to return fire. And this time we rolled a 31 on the 9, which is an easy, and we rolled a 6 for the red die. So now the firefight continues with the rebels firing back, and this time the rebels are able to make something happen. They roll a 61 on what do we call it? A 6 to 7, which is a tough test, and they rolled an 8. So we can skedaddle or be shaken 1. We're going to take the shaken result because we don't want to give the ground. Now, hopefully, we're going to hope that we can maybe rally that off in a rally step at some point, or do it with a card. But we can't remove it while we're adjacent to an enemy. But we can't lose the space, so we'll lose the game. All right. So we'll do this for another fire event, and we'll make the same attack here. Alright, that's another good result for the Confederates. They rolled a 54 on the 6 to 7, which is another tough test. And they rolled a 6 again on the red die. And here we're only at 2. So we're going to be put up to an 8, which is again a shaken or a skedaddle 1. So we're going to take the skedaddle, and the reason being is if we don't, we're going to deplete. Now, we only issued fire combat. We're not able to take the space, which has the Union commander saying, "Thank you." Alright, so then we have this card here, and we're going to play it for the event, which lets us target a Union unit. I'm going to choose this one, and it has to roll its cohesion rating or less, which in this case is a 2. Alright, it got a 2. If it didn't, it was going to deplete. Okay, so now it's the end of the turn. If either player had held cards, we could play them now. But since we don't, we can go right into the 5 o'clock turn. So I am going to begin by dealing a new hand of cards. Well, sorting the cards, getting fresh events for both sides, shuffling the deck, talking to you guys. We're at about the half-hour mark, which means we're doing all right. And it actually looks like I'm running low on storage on my card. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pause the video here while I finish the inner turn stuff. and make some room on this disc just to make sure I don't run out of space. Alright, be back in a flash. Alright, we're back. Hopefully that doesn't end up being too choppy in edit. Alright, so we have our second term. We're ready to go. As you can see, our Union reinforcements are over here. Our Confederate reinforcements are over here. Okay. That being said, I'm going to zoom in a little bit closer so you can see a little bit more detail there. Alright. Okay, so here we go. We did all of I did everything that I need to do. Technically, there's a artillery bombardment phase that you can spend cards on, but no player has artillery on the board yet. Okay. And we are ready to go. So let's get started. So first, we have a Confederate event, which we can hold to try and screw with the Union activation. But what we'll do instead is we'll play it for a minimum, and what we'll do is we will move into this hex here, right? And they'll get to issue defensive fire here. So 8, and they're firing into Rocky. Actually, this is Rocky, not Rocky Woods, so technically I probably shouldn't even have been giving them a negative modifier. So let's roll it. Alright, so we get a 62 on the 8, which is a severe test, and we rolled a 5. For their toughness, 5 plus 4 is 9, so they get an SH parentheses SK1. So they must be shaken, and they can skedaddle if they want. Well, they just got there, so they're not going anywhere. So these guys will fire. And they rolled double 6s. Union got some more boxcars. Okay. So let's see. That's a 4, and that's a tough test. And we got a 5, and now their support, since they don't have any units with them, is a 3. So it's a 9 on the tough test, which is an SH/SK1. Well, we're going to skedaddle 1, because if we shake, we're going to flip. And once you are depleted, in single day scenarios, you can't flip back over. I think you can only flip over during overnight turns. I believe that is correct. Or there's a rally around the flag card. Okay. So they hold the hex. They're the last to pass through it, so they temporarily have it. Okay. So here we go. Next one is another Confederate event. So this time, what we're going to do is we are going to move 1 to there. Okay. Next one, Union. So this would be nice if we wanted to assault, but what we will do is we will move our artillery 1, 2. Okay. Alright. Fast Courier. Activate any one division for a corps that has not yet been activated this turn. Well, we'll definitely do that. Alright, so they rolled a 2, which is modified to 1. So they get to activate any one brigade. And we're going to activate Law's Brigade and put them under an attack order. And moving down the slope, there's no MP cost. I'm pretty sure. Slope, slope, slope. 13. Correct. 2, 4. Alright. Next card. Fog of War. So we'll roll that. And this time we get a 16. So choose Rebel Battlefield Chaos. And Battlefield Chaos. Alright. So basically, the name side in the result is the affected player. The opposing player to the affected player places the corresponding Battlefield Chaos marker on top of any occupied hex of his choosing. Units in that hex are frozen. They may not issue defensive fire or use a firefight result in combat. This lasts for the remainder of the turn. Okay. So, we're going to choose this one. Alright. Next, Sickles. So let's roll for Dan. So we get a 3, which is 1 brigade from DP1, which is this, and we'll do a rally here. We'll rally that off. Okay. Next, we have a Union event. So we'll do a minimum move, and we'll move here. So this unit can't do defensive fire, but this unit can. So he'll be on the 6 to 7. And we roll a 13, which is a no effect, with a 5 plus 3 is 8. So no firefight. So the Union is now back in control. Alright. Okay. Alright. So we're going to play that to fire, and we'll shoot at this hex here. And we get a 64, which is a good result. 64 on the 9 is a severe test. And we got a 3 plus 3 is 6 on the severe, which is shaken or skedaddle 2. Shaken and skedaddle 2. So it depletes. We remove the shaken marker, and it goes back 2. Goes back 2. Good shooting for the Union. Alright. Confederate event. So let's bring on, we'll use this to bring on its reinforcement. And then we have another Union event. So now we'll shoot at the other one. And we rolled a 46 on the 9, which is a tough. And we got a 5 plus 3 is 8. So they shake or skedaddle 1. Shake or skedaddle 1. Do either of those cancel out the battlefield chaos? Let's see. The skedaddle does. So we're going to skedaddle 1, which removes the battlefield chaos. Okay. Last card is the Confederate Division activation. So we'll roll, and we get a 3, which is division priority 1 and 2. In this case, it doesn't matter. So we'll roll on the chart, and we get a 5, which means we activate as a division, but every brigade must have the same orders. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to do attack orders. So we can issue fire. So we can shoot here. So that'll be shifted twice down to the 5. Ooh, when we roll really well, we get a 64. On the 5, that's going to be a tough, and 5 plus 3 is 8. So they shake or skedaddle 1. We'll give them the shaken marker. No one else has a shot. So now we move. So we'll go 2, 4, and now we can issue fire here. We're going to be on the 8, and we get a 25 on the 8, which is an easy test. They're a 3 plus 5 is 8, no effect. Okay, now we'll go 2, 4, and then 2. Now note that there's no defensive fire possible since these units are already adjacent. Now we're going to do an assault, and this one is going to go off because Vincent cannot retreat. Okay. Alright. So, this unit these units will go, this unit will assault and these units will support. Okay. So here's how assaults work. So both sides are going to roll dice at the same time. So we're starting on the 8 column, the support of the other. We start on the 8 column, and then we look at shifts. So with that other unit, we'll be put up to 17, which is going to give us a 3 to 2. So we'll get 1 shift for that. Okay. We'll get 1 shift for that. We're going to lose 2 shifts for attacking up a steep slope. So we're going to be rolling on the 6 to 7. So let's roll the Confederates on the 6 to 7. And they rolled a 21, which is not good. So it's no effect. Now the Union, they are defending, or actually, it would only be one shift to the left in an assault. So what we say, we're at 8. So we shift 1 to the left, and that's a 21, which is still no effect. Okay. The Union is a 9, shifted twice for the steep slope. Actually, hold on, I'm wrong. Alright, so the Confederates start on the 8 to 9. They're shifted once to the left for Rocky, and twice to the right for Ratio. End result is still a no effect. Alright, Union. Union rolled boxcars, or they rolled 11, which is also a no effect, but let's find out what the combat event is. They're the defending unit roll. Which means that there's no breakthrough possible. Okay, so now we have a no effect result, which means it's a close fight. So then we take 2 dice and roll it and resolve the close fight, which is a 6. So I may either do a skedaddle on my hex, or apply an SH on myself and an SK skedaddle on the assault hex. Okay. If I... Well, I'm already shaken. But they can't do a breakthrough. They can't do a breakthrough because of the double ones. Okay, yeah. So we'll skedaddle. They don't get to do a breakthrough. So they push them out of the hex, but they're afraid of a counterattack, so they don't take it. Alright. So that's the end of turn 2. The Union did have one reinforcement that didn't make it on, so he's going to hang out there. And we're going into the last turn. So let me make our deck for us. And we'll play the last turn. Now we could do preliminary bombardment now that we have artillery on the board, but we don't have a valid target. We could reassign our division priorities, but the Confederates only have 1, and the Union doesn't want to. So we can go straight into drawing cards, and I have the hands created, the events created, and now I am just shuffling. Alright, we're ready for our third turn, third and final. So here we go. Confederate event, Rebel Yell. Ooh. That one we're going to hold on to. That'll give us a bonus in an assault against the Yankees. Alright, Longstreet Corps. Alright, so Division Priority 1, and we can activate the division group. Okay, so everyone is going to be under attack orders. Alright, so first we are going to go like so. So we're going to take the hex. We take one of the hexes, okay? So now, let's do defensive fire. So first we'll do this one. And the Union, would you believe it or not, has rolled boxcars once again. Alright, so 66 on the 4 is a tough test, and their cohesion rating, or support rating, is a 4. So 4 plus 2 is 6. So they are shaken, and they may skedaddle. Alright, and we may attack again since we rolled double 6s. We got double 2s, or actually no. This time we got 23. That's going to be no effect. And that'll end that one. And then this guy can shoot there as well. And he rolled a 23. A 23 on the 9 is an easy test with a 2, 3, 5. So he's shaken or has to skedaddle 1. So we're going to end up shaking him and depleting this unit, because if we don't, we'll have to retreat into one of these two hexes, and that would cause a panic test. And we don't want to end up retreating, we want to hold the hex. Okay, so then this fellow can move here without issue, and he can move here without issue. And that's the key part. Okay. Now the Union. Redeployment. So we're going to offer fire with this hex here against this hex here. And the Union are throwing rocks. That's from the Big Lebowski. They're actually rolling quite well. And they roll a 64 on the 8, which is going to be a severe test. And we apply this separately. So an 8 severe is SH or SK1, and a 9, they're basically both going to be SH or SK1. That's some crack shooting from the US. So I just need to look up yeah, let's shake them both. Last thing we need to do is give up the hex. Okay. Alright. Next one, sickles. Alright. So we rolled a 4, which is 1 brigade from Division 1. So we're going to attack, we're going to make the same attack there. So we'll do fire first. And this time we rolled a 14, which is no effect. And that's not going to help our cause at all. Now we can do an assault, which I'm thinking that we're going to have to. And if I mess this up, like this is probably their best shot. All right. All right, yeah, let's go for it. All right, so the Union is an 8. Actually, they're going to be attacking up a steep slope. Yeah, that's not gonna work. Too risky. All right, next one. All right, let's fire again. Same hex. All right, double 4s on the 8 to 9 is a routine test, and that's a 2. So it's a 2, 3. So 4 and 5. So it's shaken. It's shaken. Okay. So this unit is shaken, so it flips. This unit is already shaken, already on its battle-worn sign, so it's going to take a break test. Okay. So let's roll it. Alright, so it rolls a 6. So that unit is broken. Okay. And that means broken. It's placed in the broken box, which we'll just move off to the side here on the off-map display. And this guy will roll on the panic table and gets a 3, which is equal to his current cohesion rating, so he's shaken again. Alright. Now this is going to be close. So let's see. Another Union card. So again, we'll fire here. And we get a 23, which is an easy. So 5 plus 2 is 7. So that's no effect. Alright. So next is a Confederate card. And what we'll do is we will, well, there's nothing we really want to do. So we'll just issue fire from here to here. See if we can get them off our backs for a little bit. Alright, so 44, so 4 firing into woods is 3. 44 on the 3 is no effect. So they're good. Alright, so next. Alright. Play this event anytime before a new card is drawn. Place the 4 Dixie chit on any unit to increase its cohesion result by 1. If this unit gets a shaken result, remove this marker instead of replying the result. If the unit is depleted or broken, apply normally and remove the marker. Alright. So we'll do that. We'll play that. Because we want to give it the we want to give it its best chance of holding its ground there. Alright. Fog of War. Coming down to our last couple cards here. Alright, so we rolled a 61, which is a division general casualty. So let's take a look at the scenario book. Alright, so we roll, and Birni dies. Which means there's a replacement card for Birni. Which doesn't have any effect on the rest of the scenario. So we draw a union event, so we'll just take the shot, even though at this point it doesn't matter. So 31 and 8 on the 31 is a 31 on the 8 is what I meant to say. Easy. And that's a 2 plus 3 is 5. So it is shaken or skedaddles. So if it's shaken, it breaks and is removed. Yeah, we'll take the test, it doesn't matter. So we rolled a 5. So this unit is broken as well. However, the only card left is a Confederate card. So, with mass casualties, they hold on to 2 out of the 3 victory points to win the game. The Union does not have time to reclaim the position. So the Union is defeated in a close run thing. Alright, folks. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. This look at The Most Fearful Sacrifice. It was certainly a lot of fun to play. And if any questions, comments, I'm sure I made mistakes. Feel free to point those out. And Let me know. If not, we will be back soon with, let's see what the next scenario is. Scenario 2. You will be coming around the mountain. So it's a day 1 scenario. 4 turns. Looks like some artillery. And I think there might be cavalry. Alright. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. This is Mike with Play More Games, and we'll see you next time.